Despite his kindly uncle appearance, Evangelos Marinakis, the Nottingham Forest owner, not for the first time in his life, finds himself accused of some very serious crimes. So in his native Greece, he has been charged with inciting the murder of a policeman and with financing a criminal organisation. The actual murder's pretty scary stuff. So this policeman was shot with a flare gun by hooligans at the Olympiakos v Panathinaikos women's volleyball match, which, I mean, it's a horrible story, but that, I have to say, I did find that slightly surprising and funny. That
a volleyball game.
Because apparently there were like hundreds of ultras at this women's volleyball match. Obviously, it's the big derby. It's the two big teams.
Yeah, I've seen a doc before about, I think it was Galatasaray ultras or Fenerbahce, going to like under 13s basketball matches and just being there in the stands with like flares and drums and like fighting outside. It's like,
I would argue it's not really about the sport. It's like
it's like an allegiance to a whole sporting club, isn't it?
It's basically a gang for the really violent ones. I went to Boca Juniors games in Argentina, and like, it's fucking good. But a lot of those guys aren't even watching the football. They just have their backs to the game for the whole game, and they're just like about there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to like the kids' handball to just to fight blokes who live in the next neighbourhood, you're not there for the sport, really, are you?
You're telling me these guys aren't women's volleyball fans?
Murdering policemen with flare guns.
Yeah, there is this thing also in Europe of like, they're more than just football clubs, aren't they? They're like sports clubs, which we don't really have.
It is a hub of the community.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not mainly like Citizens Advice Bureau leaflets. It's murders with flare guns. Anyway, so this is a really nasty murder, and the police arrested over 100 people, and they are putting the blame at the door of these Olympiakos ultras who are part of this group called Gate 7. And they accuse Marinakis.
Gate 7 of the women's volleyball stadium.
That's the real stronghold. How big is this?
Just go past the vending machines.
How big is this volleyball stadium? Anyway, Marinakis' supposed involvement, they claim that he kind of encouraged and funded it, which I should say he completely denies. He says his conscience is clear, but there's this big case brewing in Athens over it. And, you know, Marinakis, he has mixed with some slightly shady figures in the past. So he previously employed a known mafia member and convicted murderer called Vasilis Roubetis as a sort of, I think, security guard, sort of bodyguard type capacity. Vasilis actually ended up getting assassinated last year in a suspected mafia hit. So it's not, and I think Vasilis was involved with Gate 7, so it's not like totally unheard of that he would have met some people from this world, but that doesn't mean he's done anything wrong. We've talked before about some of the other criminal accusations that Marinakis has faced. So he was charged with using one of his ships to traffic heroin in massive quantities. Those charges were dropped. He was charged and taken to court over match fixing through intimidation and bribery, although he was acquitted of that. That was the case where he had to explain why he kept making visits to see the referees at half-time, and he said, I was just wishing them good luck. I should say he's actually currently suing the owner of a rival Greek club called Aris, who's been basically accusing him of all these crimes and saying that they were real. So this, I think she's also a ship owner, and she owes, I think they're called Aris Thessaloniki, and she was found driving a billboard around Nottingham Forest Stadium last year with a link to a website that basically accused him of all these crimes and said he's still guilty.
Was she driving the van herself?
She's a millionaire Greek shipping heiress, so hopefully she's got someone to do it.
She hired a transit van.
Yeah, hopefully she's got her own Vasilis Roubetis. Or, you know, someone who's not a murderer. Anyway, he's suing her for libel, so don't want to... Don't want to get on the wrong side of these things. Like, he's never actually been found guilty of anything. Like, these charges are all dropped, so we have to assume he's innocent of them. But yeah, this new charge just goes on top. I have to say, it all makes his FA charge for spitting at a referee's feet feel quite tame. You know, he got banned for like a few matches.
Yeah, didn't he? He had some ridiculous excuse that he blamed it on some sort of medical conditions. It was after a game.
It was a Fulham.
Forest lost.
They lost to Fulham 1-0.
And I can't remember if it was at half time or after the game. The refs were like walking down the tunnel and Marinakis just spat on the floor in front of them.
Apparently it was a real phlegmy one.
But then he blamed it on like Didn't he have like bronchitis? Or
Well,
something?
I wouldn't say I guess it is a medical condition. He said he had a hacking cough caused by his 3 to 4 cigars a day habit.
Okay. Not bronchitis.
Yeah,
though.
and then he said, on the day of the incident, I was suffering from a hacking cough. I was taking lozenges, and when I cough, and when that happens, I often have to cough and spit, and phlegm can come up and hit the floor. I like the fact that the charge was worse because it was a phlegmy spit. So, aggravated.
GBH.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, he's fighting legal battles left, right, and centre. He's got this libel trial. He's just had this FA charge, and now he's been charged in Greece.
I think I'd probably take being phlegmed at when you consider that
the unproven.
he knows people who have committed murders.
Yeah, it could be worse. I don't know what these refs are whinging about. But yeah, now he's got this other charge in Greece to deal with as well. He's a busy man. I heard this story about Marinakis that may not be true, but I heard it, is that he went for dinner at Chiltern Firehouse, the like really swanky, celeb-y London restaurant. And when he arrived, the hostess on the door was this like part-time model mega babe, and he just instantly hired her as his assistant on the spot. She just handed in her notice there and then and became his assistant.